guys, I forgot to film an intro for this, but my dad and I recently took a road trip. I just got home. I'm exhausted. But on the trip, we decided to ask him a bunch of questions, like questions you should ask your parents and stuff. So I thought this was pretty cool, and here it is.
What was your childhood like?
My childhood was actually really, really good. I have 4 older sisters and 1 younger brother, but my mother always made me feel like I was the special one. She actually did. No, she really did. She really did. And I knew I was different, but that's another story. We'll get into that on another video. But I had a really good childhood. We did a lot of stuff. We played a lot of games. I got to do. I don't know. I feel like I was very lucky. There's a whole lot of people that have crappy childhood and experiences and all that. I never had that. I would say mine was pretty good.
Rub it in.
No, I mean it was, so that's what's so funny. You have 6 kids, but they all turn out so differently.
Yeah.
But we all have the same, we all experienced the same things.
Yeah.
So
And then you took it completely different directions.
You do with it. Yeah, I guess it's what you think of it. I'm not sure.
What were you like in high school?
What was I like in high school? In high school, I was, I would say I was nerdy. I was more book smart than street smart for sure. But, like, the places we used to hang out in high school was the English Resource Center, the library, and stuff like that. So it was this group of girls who, Ellie Carlson and Carol Herman and Tammy Dean and all these people, and had most of my friends were girls, I'll say that, and I just related to them a lot better. We had the best time though, because it was fun, and occasionally we would get yelled at and maybe kicked out of the library or threatened to be kicked out. I don't remember actually being kicked out.
Were you in like an AV club or something?
I don't think that I was. No, I don't remember that, if that was a thing.
That's funny.
So no, in high school I was like that.
Yeah.
And that it is. In our neighborhood growing up, in Crestview, we had a lot of, you were either, we called them burnouts at the time.
Potheads?
Well, yeah, I mean, they were the kids that would smoke dope and do whatever, But there was a lot of them in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I was never one of those. I never did that sort of stuff, but I was better at school than all of them were. So I would do a lot of their homework for them. I would do stuff like that, and I would do that. That was my contribution to my neighborhood society because I was smart.
That's funny.
So it's true. So there's lots of kids, and I won't name names, but I would help out and do their homework for them and all that too. And in return, I never had to worry about any kind of trouble.
Oh my God, they
Not on the
protected
bus
you?
They protected me. Yeah.
It was like the mafia.
Yeah, it was the Crestview Mafia. No, but it's true. They could be some scary characters to other people at the school. But if I ever had trouble at school, or if any of them heard that I had something happen or whatever, they were right there to take care of or to threaten whoever to not touch me.
That's hilarious.
So it was good to know you could do that.
That's funny because I did
with
the
your
same
brain.
thing. I did the same thing in middle school when I went to Apollo, because Apollo was a really rough school. And I was friends, like I was in 5th grade, and I hung out with all the 8th graders who everybody was like, wouldn't mess with. I was just really nice to them and hung out with them, and I had my lisp and they thought it was funny, and so I'd let them like ask me to say sentences so they could laugh at my lisp, and in return nobody messed with me. I let them make fun of me so no one else would.
Well, it worked for them and it worked for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't ever have to become one of them, and they didn't have to be like me at all either.
Yeah.
So it was all fine and good.
How would your parents describe you?
I don't think my dad would describe me at all, because he doesn't really talk a lot. The only time he talks a lot is when Michael comes over to the house too, and then he can't stop talking.
Oh my God.
He shows him what he's watching on TV, and he wants to take him downstairs and does all that stuff, which is funny. I think my mother would describe me as positive and creative.
I can see that.
Yeah. But that came from her.
Yeah. When you think about a fork in the road in your life, what was it, and why did you choose that particular path?
I wouldn't say it was a successful path to choose, but it was definitely a fork in the road at the time. And that's way before I came out. And that's when I got married. Because you had to decide, and I think most gay guys go through this for sure. You reach an age when you're 19, 20, 21, and if you're not dating a girl, everybody you talk to and any relative that's distant and they come to visit, they want to go, oh, aren't you? Are you seeing a nice girl? And they want to set you up with a girl and all this stuff. And you're also raised to become either a husband or a father or both. That's that's what your path is. So you do reach a point, I think, as a young man where you're like, I have to do this, you know. And I mean, to have you kids is great. I would never do anything differently, because that was the
benefit of
that's
it.
the benefit of the whole thing, right? And that's something I could never do without. But it was a definite fork in the road where you had to make a decision. You know, are you going to do this or not? And you pray about it and do all that. And I did all that stuff, thinking, oh, this will go away. I can do this. I can do this.
I can suck it up. And
you know, and you really can. And it takes being older, and 55 now, to know that all you can ever be is just yourself. That's the only way you're going to be successful at anything, is if you just own it and just be you. So that was a fork in the road where I had to make a choice. And I was afraid not to make that choice, because the other, you're always afraid of being outed.
Yeah, exactly. Of everyone knowing or
right. And then you could lose your family, lose your friends, and all that. So, you know.
What was your second choice for my name?
The second choice for your name was Bianca.
That one's so bad.
And I'm glad now that was not the choice.
I used to love that when I was little. Like when me and Emma would be playing, we'd always have a different name, and one of my favorites was Bianca for the longest time.
Well, your grandma Elaine would always say Banaka.
I know.
Because Banaka was
oil or something.
No, it was a breath spray.
Oh, okay. That's so funny. What have you always wanted to tell me but haven't had the courage to?
No, I think you kind of know everything. I think you do.
We don't have that kind of relationship.
That time happened a long time ago.
You came out with that a long time ago. Growing up, who inspired you the most?
Growing up, I would say that honestly, my mom inspired me the most, because she won't remember this now, and sometimes I remind her of things she's done when we were little. But she had two things that she always said. Mom had said two things all the time that always stuck with me. And one was, think positively. She would just drill that into your head. I think she drilled it into everybody else's head too, but I don't know. This is my experience.
But not everyone's stuck.
Think positively, and I do, and I think I always have. And the other is, you don't hate, you dislike. And I used to hate when she'd say that to me. She'd say, you don't hate, you dislike.
You didn't hate
say,
when
well,
she said it to you, you disliked
I disliked that she said it to me. But those are things that I remember, and those are things that I live every day. And it's because of her, but she would drill that into your head. And she has no idea that she used to do that, which is kind of funny now.
Now she'd be like, that's silly, why did I say that?
She kind of molded me into the way I think of the world.
I can see that. If you had to do it all over again, would you pursue the same career path?
Yes, because I've had a lot of great experiences with working for a mayor, with working for a governor for a short time, and with getting involved in the Parks and Rec industry after that, and learning so much about computers that I do. It's been a real journey, a really good journey, and it's been full of all kinds of stuff. So I don't think I could go back and say, I think I would like to go back and become a lawyer, or become a doctor, or become a something, because I'm not a something. It's just kind of happened along the way. And because it's been so rich with different experiences, I would not change it.
I think if you did do something else, it would just be something either art or clothing related.
Yeah, it would be art or something that was on the creating something crafty or something like that. And maybe I'll do that when I'm retired.
What is your biggest regret?
my biggest regret is not having the courage to come out when I was 18 years
Yeah.
old or 16 years old, but that was in 1980.
Yeah,
that was
that's
the
a
late
different
70s and 80 and 81, and it couldn't have been done.
You would have had a much harder path.
It couldn't have been done. I don't think I would have anybody that I have today.
Yeah.
And that just is a generational thing and a time thing and a cultural thing.
Yeah.
That, you know, I was 39, I think, when I came out.
Mhm.
And that's a very long time
To hold that in.
to hold that in,
Yeah.
right? And so that's my biggest regret, but again, it gave me a kid, so that's a plus, and it couldn't have been done.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I guess I don't
I
really
wouldn't
regret
think
it because
so,
I
yeah.
couldn't have done it
Well,
anyways.
yeah, but in an ideal
I'd have
world.
my ass beat.
Oh my God.
Everywhere.
Your friends who you did the homework for wouldn't help you then, would they?
No, they probably still would.
As long as they got
I like
good
to think
grades.
they would, right?
Oh my God. Okay, what was the best trip of your life that you've taken?
Well, the best place on a trip I've ever been to is the pools at Caesar's Palace.
Yeah,
That's my favorite
those
place on
videos were
earth.
cool, yeah.
I'll go back there in a minute and just spend my life there, and that would be like heaven. But my favorite trip of all was this May of this year for my birthday. We went to Fort Lauderdale, and quite by surprise is when Michael asked me to marry him, and it was not on my radar. I was not
No.
even thinking about that.
Right by all of our surprise.
He really caught me off guard.
Yeah, he caught all of us off guard because he just texted me that day and said, "Is it okay?"
Right.
Like an hour before he did it.
It was absolutely, it was the most shocking experience of my life. I think. One of those things. So yeah, that was the best trip I've ever had.
Good. Oh, this is a good one, especially from your point of view. What amazes you most about society nowadays?
What amazes me most about society nowadays is that there's so many hateful people out there that we're hearing from now, and I think it's just because of all of this Trump
Yeah.
craziness that he just empowers these people. So today, on the day that you're asking me these questions, there's going to be some white supremacist rally in Washington, D.C. of all places. So they're going to show their faces and be so proud, and they're all supporting this horrible man.
Yeah.
And that's what surprised me about society today, is that these people that have so much hate, and it's not just white supremacists, so much hate for other people that are not like them.
Yeah.
They're so vocal these days,
Yeah.
and it's not a place I ever wish for the world to be in. And it just seems to be on this path, and I think it's frightening.
Well, what's funny is I feel like everything that's changed in society is about tolerance, but two totally different ends of the spectrum. I feel like more people than ever are tolerant of other religions, other sexual orientations,
agree.
everything like that. But at the same
Absolutely.
time, so many people are tolerant of the racism and of the, like sexism or, just crazy ideals.
Right.
That's just tolerated more.
Yeah, no, that surprises me too, because, as a kid growing up, I wished I could live in a world where I could be who I was and all that, and I never believed it could ever happen. And it has, so that's a great thing about society.
But at the
That's
same time, the other
wonderful.
side is like,
but
as much as that one's risen, the other one is just fallen.
Yes, and the other one being so
negative.
It's so awful. Yeah.
Speaking of that, what do you miss about the old days?
What do I miss about the old days?
Women making you sandwiches.
Where did that
Smoking
come from?
during pregnancy.
Like Mad Men?
Yeah.
Yes, smoking during pregnancy. I got 3 children that I know of. What do I miss about the old days?
I guess
I miss this. I miss that you could make mistakes and do all the stupid things that you do as a teenager or as a young adult and not have it be known or
On
be
social
registered
media
on
and
social
stuff.
media or on the internet anywhere. I would hate to grow up in today's world because you can't do anything. You can't do anything.
Like being in middle school, middle school is the worst time for bullying and stuff. I cannot imagine going through middle school and being on Facebook or something. There's no way.
No, I couldn't.
It would get so brutal.
I miss the days before smartphones and all that.
Yeah.
Because what we
It's
were
more
just talking
simple.
about earlier. Yeah, if you put your phone down at a meal or something like that, that's an uncommon thing to do. But least talk to people and visit that way.
Yeah.
People are too much into their devices.
Yeah.
So I miss the time before that.
The authenticity of
Yeah.
better relationships and stuff. Looking back at your life thus far, what are you most proud of?
I am most proud of I'd say the obvious thing. I'm most proud of how you kids have turned out.
I remember her going, me.
That's a basic
Me.
answer, though. You're always
Besides
proud of
kids,
that.
besides
Kids, and I'm proud that we have a new grandbaby for sure.
Yes.
What am I most proud of? I'm most proud of that I feel like Michael and I feel like we are on a path to a new phase of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're both going to be approaching retirement soon, and we're both going to be ready for it and okay through it. And
Yeah.
it's something that I think is going to be. I think I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, because with both of your histories and past relationships and everything, I feel like you're both in the best place
Oh, I agree. It's
you've
also
been in.
big changes like that are always frightening,
Yeah.
but we've been through scary stuff already. So
Mhm. Yeah,
this is something we
exactly.
can't handle.
That's all done with. What did you discover in the last decade or two that you wish you discovered sooner? That you had other illegitimate children.
Oh, that. Everybody says that as an answer. Want to say it again? Ask it again. What did you discover?
What did you discover in the last decade or two that you wish you discovered sooner?
I would say the joys of traveling, because I never really traveled places till Michael and I got together.
That's a good one.
And we go places a lot, and whether it's a long weekend or whatnot, and I was never a traveler.
Yeah.
And I never thought that I would be a traveler or like it as much as I do, but that's the biggest
It's
discovery.
like your favorite thing now.
It is. It's
Yeah.
like my favorite thing. It's something you look forward to, and it kind of presses your reset button when you can go away, even to, for a little weekend
Yeah.
and come back. You're just ready to attack work again and
Yeah,
normal stuff again.
Because you all traveled as kids for family stuff and whatever.
We did.
Some.
We did once a year. We would go on vacation, and that would be to drive up north to northern Wisconsin to see our cousins and all that. But then, as we became teenagers, as Judy and Ellen were adults, they moved out, and it was just Sarah, Janet, me, and Brian. Then we had an RV or a trailer, and so we would go around to these campgrounds and all that.
Yeah.
Which, they were interesting times.
Yeah,
it was
but
never
that's
my
like
favorite place
family
to go.
things that you went along with.
No. I mean,
And then when we were
I
growing
learned how
up,
to
we
smoke.
never.
I learned how to smoke cigarettes at a campground. It wasn't.
That's hilarious.
It wasn't my finest hour. But all we would do is get quarters and go to the little whatever the main room was at the campground, and they had pinball machines and arcade games, and Brian and I would play arcade games.
And we never traveled growing up. Like the only thing I remember is going to Chattanooga
We did Chattanooga one time.
in like
with the kids,
3rd or
that's
4th
right.
grade.
Yeah.
What's your favorite place that you've lived?
My favorite place that I've lived, my favorite location I've lived in is here, because it just has it has a lot. It just has a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot going on, and I'm still here because I've loved being here. And then my favorite house I've lived in was. I'm gonna change the question. My favorite house that I lived in as growing up or whatever. Okay? Because I would say my favorite house I've lived in is the one I'm in right now. Otherwise, that's a boring answer. And the Woodland Point house was nice too. But I would say the house I grew up in. Because that's where everything happened, and that's where all your memories are, and that's where the notches are on the wall, and all that good stuff, and where your neighbor, or you're playing with the neighbors, and
Is that the one in Racine?
that's in Crestview, in Racine. And it was a small house.
Yeah.
There was 8 of us, and it was a 3-bedroom house. So when we were very little, Brian and I, the mom and dad had their bedroom. Then there was a large bedroom and a small. Judy and Ellen had the small bedroom with bunk beds, I think, in it. Maybe we did bunk beds later. And then the large large bedroom had Sarah, Jan, and me and Brian.
Okay.
So the
I
four of
wondered
us
about
stayed
that,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, and then they added on, they finished out the basement and added on another bedroom there when Judy and Ellen got older, so the girls moved downstairs. Then Brian and I got our own room together. And all that. But no, it's just all those experiences and all that stuff. They were good memories.
Mm-hmm. What were you doing when you were my age? So I'm almost 30.
Well, I would have, yeah. Because how old was I when you were born?
25, I think.
25, yeah.
So you were 27 when Jordan was born. So this would have been around when Jordan was 2 years old.
I was chasing you kids around. That's what I was doing.
Were you working with the mayor then?
What year would that have been?
That
30?
would have been 93.
Yes, I was working at the mayor's office at that time.
What advice would you give your 20-year-old self?
I would tell my 20-year-old self just to do it.
Yeah.
Just to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're going to be okay either way. It won't matter. You're going to be okay either way.
Yeah.
Whether it's the path that ended up being my path,
Mm-hmm.
or whether I'd chosen a different route back then, I still believe I would have been okay.
Mm-hmm. It would have worked out somehow.
Yes.
What do you wish you spent less time doing?
I wish I spent less time worrying about what other people thought.
Yeah, worrying about everything.
Yeah, worrying about what other people thought. And you too, right?
Yeah, I'd say the same thing. I'd spend less time stressing over stuff that I can't control.
That's right.
And
That's
make
right.
my own choices.
Yes.
What family tradition do you cherish the most? I don't really have many traditions. Except like holidays at grandma's and stuff.
Yeah, holidays at grandma's for sure. And I think ours when we were kids was Christmas as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we would wake up at 3:30 in the morning or something and sneak out just to see if Santa Claus came, you know, and then get yelled at if they hear us. Get back in bed.
Yeah. What happy memory will you cherish forever?
Well, I'm going to cherish being proposed to on the beach this May for sure.
Oh my God.
But that's obvious, so let me think a little deeper on that, okay? So what happy memory will you cherish forever? I know the first time that Michael and I went on a trip, we drove to Pensacola, Florida. And I'd never been there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd never been at the Gulf in Mexico either. And so we stayed at this little motel called the Five Flags Inn, and it has since been torn down.
Mm-hmm.
And everything's redeveloped in that area and all that. But I just remembered that afternoon, that next morning, we got up and just out on the balcony there with the sun coming up. It was so hot, but it was so exciting, and we took a picture of each other, and it's in one of the frames in the bedroom.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, and I'm wearing a yellow shirt and a white
I know
cap.
what you're talking
That's the
about.
one. That
Oh,
was the
that's
morning
funny.
of our first trip to Florida.
That's cute.
And it was just it was a dumpy little motel, you
Yeah.
know, but it was just a special time,
Uh-huh.
and it just felt really, really neat.
Special, yeah. Okay, that's it. Congratulations. Good job.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh my God.